1 minute. Let me try and list out. Okay, yes, got it.
Welcome.
We have Maria Pontes. Maria Pontes today joining us from Mumbai, but she is here today. You can see her so lively, so active. She is a retirement lifestyle coach. So this is something very unique. और वो आपको बताएंगी और वो खुद एक रिटायर्ड HR में काम करती थी IIT में बहुत साल. Then after that retirement, she took up this. How was her journey? What did she do to become a retirement coach? And वो retirement planning करती है लोगों के साथ कि कैसे retired life को भी actively जिया जाए. She has walked ramp, रैम्प वॉक किया है उन्होंने डिजाइनर टॉप डिजाइनर्स के रैम्प वॉक के लिए शी विल स्पीक अबाउट दिस आल्सो एंड शी इज एन ऑथर शी इज अ स्पीकर एंड अ लॉट मोर. So let's welcome Maria Pontes.
Very good. Welcome. Very
Thank
good.
you. Welcome.
I'll mute everyone.
Yes.
And
Yes,
we'll open it for questions at the end.
Dr. Sagarika, I have kept two instances where we can open up. I will ask them to say something.
Yes.
So that's the time we will give them a break to talk.
Yeah, they themselves, they'll unmute themselves and they're used to it.
They love talking. Our
Yeah,
guests.
I know that.
Maria is.
Yeah, Maria, please unmute yourself.
Okay. So, do I start? Great. I'll just let me know if you can see my screen.
No, not yet.
Okay, yes, I know what I've made a mistake. See, I'm still learning. Done. Now?
Yeah.
Okay. So a very warm welcome. And I have kept my session today as I am the GPS of my life. I'm sure आप सब लोग कार या टू-व्हीलर ड्राइव करते होंगे. तो हमारी लाइफ ऐसे ही है जहां हम लोग अपने खुद के लाइफ GPS को लेके कैसे आगे जाना है and how do we drive our life, whether we are in our young age, in our career, or now in our retirement. So I'd like to share with you mostly what I had done for me and in my life. And I will take you through a journey of myself right from the time of my family and where I ended today, right now. So So I hail from a city called Mumbai, and I'm sure everyone knows a place where all the Bollywood people are well awaited for all of us. And that's where the people come in. So from Mumbai, Bandra, I lived there for 25 years. And I've been there for such a long time. And these are my parents, my dad and mom, uneducated, but they had dreams of educating us. So these are my 5 siblings. So they were very clear that they would educate us and make sure that we do well in our lives. My dad was a motor mechanic and my mom was a housewife. But the kind of, values they gave us was huge. So we lived in a very small house, which was a 1-room kitchen. So we slept around the same place and we cooked around the same place and things like that. But one day, my neighbor asked my father, "How are you managing in such a small home?" That's when my father said, we are very happy, we have peace, and we have a lot of enjoyment amongst my children and myself. So he was a motor mechanic to a group of doctors whose cars he used to repair. And the doctors were so sweet and kind that they would tell my dad, Roderick, they would say, please take your children for a picnic. So we would go to Gateway of India, Hanging Garden, Kamala Nehru Park, Zoo, once in a quarter on a picnic. But we had to carry our books to study in the car. So that was the best thing that we had. And there was one value again, which my parents are very keen, that he and his three other brothers would meet twice a year, Christmas and Easter, at my grandmother's place in Cherney Road. So this meeting has continued even with my brothers and sisters now, that we meet for Christmas and Easter every year. So you will be able to see this group in my home. My home used to be a place where for Christmas, everybody meets. They all get their secret Santa gifts, put it under the Christmas tree. And once the lunch is over, the children would hand over the gifts to us and we would open our gifts. And the good thing was, we had to say 2 words about the gift, and there's to be so much of fun, laughter, and enjoyment. Then we would exchange our Christmas sweets. All of us would make sweets at home. So we would get like 4 packets of sweets from our other siblings and then have tea and go home. So these events have been very, very memorable for all of us down the line. Now, let me take you to the other aspects. Life has never been like this before. I was in class 9. I was age 14, and everything was going well at that time. I wasn't very good at studies. My teacher used to always complain to my mom, ma'am, she doesn't study, or she's very average. It's always very average. And that average thing went into my head. But it didn't strike me at that time what average meant, and I just continued to study. But then one day, it was November 30th, 1977, I decided to go to visit my grandmother in Cherney Road. And I had to travel from Bandra to Cherney Road by the local train. I went there, I had dinner. She picked lovely, delicious dinner for me. We ate and went to sleep. Around 1:30 in the night, there was a call saying that my father is no more. And we were so shocked because I met my dad that evening when I left from home. So I don't know exactly what happened. And it was such a shock when we got to know that they were coming with his body to my grandmother's house for the final rites. And then we were so devastated because my mom was uneducated. She had no job, and we were 5 children. My sister had just finished her SSC and started a job. My brother had finished his SSC and was doing his internship. So that was such a blow to us, and we were like left totally devastated. The following year, I completed my graduation, and I went to my mom and I said, I want to do I finished my 10th standard, and I told my mom, I'd like to be a graduate, so I'd like to go and study. She said, I'm sorry, darling, I cannot afford to send you to college. Please find a job and earn. So my dreams were shattered. I was shocked. My brother was very keen that I pursue graduation because both he and my sister, who are older to me, couldn't do it. So I decided that I would need to take a job, and I started giving tuitions. From there, I picked my threads and started doing secretarial course while studying and giving tuition and getting some money home. A year later, I got my dream job. And this is something that I'd like to share. When I was a little girl in school, I remember playing teacher and, going to office. I used to borrow the chadar, from the home, and go to my friend's house and drape the bed sheet like wearing a sari. And I would borrow my friends' parents' clothes as though we are going to office. So somewhere I realized later that my dream of teaching as a teacher and of working in a corporate came true. And I was so excited that this was one of my dream. Though graduation didn't happen, my teaching and the dream job came true. While I was working at NIIT in 1982, I joined as a little girl and I was very well looked after by my seniors, who was the director at that time. In order to enhance my studies and my profession, I joined an institute or an association called All India Secretaries of Admin Professionals. Now, it was only for women secretaries who were working for bosses across the globe, across Mumbai. So our headquarters was in Mumbai. We started this, and I was on their committee, joined as a committee member, then became a honorary treasurer and a secretary. But one thing, when I became the treasurer here, I realized I was very scared. So the founder said, "Don't worry, Maria," because I was an art student at that time. He said, "Don't worry, we will help you." So my learning happened with this organization. Soon in 88, I got married. And in 90, my daughter was born. I went back to work with a very heavy heart because I had nobody to look after my daughter, and I kept her with my babysitter, who became, the husband and wife became grandparents to my daughter as their children were married and moved out. So we found a family in them, and they took care of us till my daughter was very old enough. While Gail, my daughter, was 3, I decided also that I need to study. Because when I went for the interview at my first job, my boss asked me, "Maria, if I pay you the salary, would you like to pursue your graduation?" And I told him, "No, sir, don't worry. You'll be wasting your money. I'm not interested in studies." And at that time, I declined the offer. But when Gail became 3 and she started to go to the nursery, I decided to pursue my graduation at age 32. So that was something I was very, very uh, happy that I was able to pursue my graduation along with Gail, along with my job, along with my home. And I knew it would be a tough, tough thing for me. But in my mind, I had already prepared myself that I'm going to take the journey. Then, as they say, there are difficult times. I started having trouble in my marriage due to the alcoholic behavior of my husband. I took it for some time, got him rehabilitated, but things didn't move. It became even worse. And I didn't want to go through all of it with my daughter in the home. There were times when I had to, just in the middle of the night, take my daughter, go to the babysitter, middle of the night, go to the police station, put a complaint, because it became more of a domestic violence after a situation like this. And that's when I was handling, my mother wasn't well. I was handling her as well. And it became too much for me. I spoke to the priest and decided that I needed to do something and how to manage my job, because for me, the job was also very important. Around this time, I lost my mother in 2000. And that was a bigger blow for me, with all the pain and suffering that I was already going through, which she was not aware of, because the decision to marry was mine. And I realized that I had to take this journey along with me without, troubling my siblings and my mother. around after that, I decided to part ways with my husband because I needed to focus on my daughter and my job. And I didn't want to be a burden to anybody in my family. So that's the time I decided to do something about my career. At the same time, secretarial role got redundant. At that time, emails came in, laptops came in, desktops came in, and bosses didn't need secretaries so much at that time. So because I had some HR experience as a secretary, they redeployed me into an HR department, and I started enjoying that work very well. They knew I could take it and move ahead with it. So I was fortunate that I could retain my job from a secretarial to an HR. And I really started enjoying my life. There were many opportunities that I could travel, I could meet employees, help them in so many ways to do better. And there were many occasions where we could do a lot of activities for our employees and their children. So this was a painting competition when children were invited to come during the Diwali vacation, and we would have some fun activities. So I started immersing in these kind of activities. Then there was a point as a member of the Secretaries Association, I became the All India President in 2004. I led the delegation, Indian delegation to Singapore. I was able to go out and, look at more new avenues. Now, this didn't come to me very easily. I had to take support from my babysitter who supported me with my studies during my exams and my daughter. So I made a lot of use of my secretarial association when India became the host for an Asian Secretaries Conference in our own country in Mumbai. And I was among those people that were in the organizing committee. I had an opportunity to work. So opportunities came my way. Had I put my problems before my opportunities, I don't think I would have come where I am today. So I think this is something that I'm sure all of you also would have learned. Would have been a lot of opportunities in your way. I had an opportunity even to travel to Pakistan in 2014, along with this for this Asian Secretaries Conference. And in 2018, I had an opportunity to travel to Papua New Guinea. Every 2 years, we would meet in an Asian member country. Huh. This is another important event which I talked to you about. The painting for little NIITians. जहां हम लोग बच्चों को बुलाते हैं ऑफिस में, उन लोग को ड्राइंग कंपटीशन देते हैं, करते हैं, और माँ बाप अपने बच्चे को लेके आते हैं. तो ड्राइंग पेंटिंग कंपटीशन के बाद हम लोग उनको कुछ मैकडॉनल्ड्स खिलाते हैं और हैप्पी मील्स लेके देते हैं, वाइल दूसरे रूम में उनका पेंटिंग का जजिंग हो जाता है. जब ये दोनों का काम हो जाता है, फिर हम लोग उनको हैप्पी मील्स का वो प्राइज आता है, वो देते हैं. एंड दे आर सो एक्साइटेड दैट एवरीबॉडी गॉट द प्राइज. Then we give them participation prize. So they would be even more happy that they got another prize. And then हम लोग declare करते थे first, second, third prizes. By then सब खुश कि उन लोग को इतना गिफ्ट्स मिले हैं. तो अगली साल वो लोग आने के लिए इतना एक्साइटेड होते हैं कि मेरा नाम फिर रखा गया था कि गिफ्ट आंटी, प्राइज आंटी. और एक दिन मैं पुणे गई, हमारे कोई दोस्त के हस्बैंड गुजर गए. मैं वहां मिलने गए फैमिली को मेरे विजिट पे. तब उनका एक बाबा बाहर था, उन्होंने दौड़ के जाके बोला, मम्मा प्राइज आंटी आई है घर पे हम लोग को मिलने के लिए. बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के कि बच्चों कैसे हमें याद करते हैं. ये है सारे बच्चे हमारे. और उनमें हमारे सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स के भी बच्चे, ऑफिस बॉयज प्यून के भी बच्चे होते हैं। तो इतना मजा आता है कि बच्चे एक जैसे हैं, अगर मैनेजर के बच्चे हों या ऑफिस बॉय के बच्चे हों। बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगता है। अब मैं थोड़ा यहाँ ब्रेक लेके मुझे आपसे आई वॉन्ट टू लिसन फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ यू। आपका कोई एक या दो स्टोरीज हमें बता सकते हैं जो आपको याद आता है। Anybody can unmute and speak. Dilip sir is
What happened? Members, please, आप लोग, any stories from your young age, something?
You can raise your hand and I'll spotlight you all.
I want to ask
Okay,
one question.
Car uncle, here you
Can I
go.
ask one question?
yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. What was your role as a secretary when you joined secretary as a secretary? What was your role in the?
So I had to do shorthand typing, but
Okay.
it wasn't just that work. So if they said, Maria, will you help me with something? I would go and help. So by a personality, I'm a helper. So,
Okay.
and I didn't know till I did my coaching program, you know. So, and if they said we wanted to do some other work, I would go and help. That way, I learned.
Okay.
I didn't come with an HR background and an HR qualification. So if
Okay.
my director said, Maria, will you correct the papers, the assessment papers? I would correct. He would interpret it. Then he would say, can you check what are the scores? You know, they would give me work and I would do
Okay.
it because it was new and I was enjoying it. Because
Okay.
other than shorthand typing, this was something that I was loving.
Okay.
And the one good thing I liked about was one day one student came complaining. We were teaching IT. Okay.
Okay.
And he came complaining and I was scared. So my director at that time was the head of the center and he said, what you should do, Maria, is just listen. Don't justify, just listen to the problem, what he's facing. And in that, whatever he says, make a note. And if somebody is there, you can put them on to us. If not, do not justify because they are pained. I said, my God, this is something new. Because we go to say, give excuses why it didn't happen or why that mistake happened, So that's where I learned, even if somebody calls to complain, listen to them. Because in our listening, half the problem is solved.
Yes.
And never say, so-and-so faculty is not there. Take the problem and say the faculty is not there right now in the class. Can I call you back? And we had to be very sincere enough. So these are little values that other than working there helped me in the long run. Because when I became an HR, people came to me for problems. And I said, I don't have solutions to people's problems. But I realized in my listening, they found solutions to their problems. And that came to me much, much later on, just before close to retirement, of course. I hope that answered your.
Yeah. I can understand your problem. Yes.
Yes. Anyone else? I'd love to hear one short story from. Dilip sir was smiling.
Yeah, I wanted to speak few words.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a year 1968 when I had just passed my engineering and I had no job. At that time, it was very difficult to find a job. But anyway, my father was asked to retire by the government 3 years earlier to his scheduled date of retirement. We were also 5 siblings. My elder sister was just married, but other 2 sisters and 1 brother, they were still studying. So then my father wanted to move out from the official residence to the place where he had made a small house in Odisha, but unfortunately, we had a joint family. By the time my father moved with all the luggages and my brothers and sisters, the other family members who were staying in the joint family refused to put them in. So he had no choice and had to come back to a place about 40-50 kilometers away from that place. And at that time, I was appearing interview in Bombay, in Mumbai, in fact. But but I reached my parents and I saw this precarious condition of my father and my entire family. So father was really telling me what to do, how to go about it. You are the eldest. At that time, I had got a scholarship of $300. Imagine in 1968 to go abroad and study in USA. But I said, I won't go. Don't worry. I'll be here inside this country only. And I won't join any higher studies in any of the colleges. But I would request you that you don't go to that place from where you had got, they didn't allow you to go. That we'll see later. But today you just put yourself in a very small one-bedroom apartment in the small village type of area. And I told my mother, you just allow your father, my father, because he was a doctor, to sit down in the room and allow to see the patients free. And see, automatically they will give something. Maybe somebody 2 rupees or 5 rupees, accept it without anything. And that is how you do. And I would try to get something, and I will send the money to you for sustenance. So it was a very difficult period, in fact. But then my father had started practicing. So something he was earning maybe 30 rupees a day or so. But that was good enough at that time for managing the household. Just and my sisters and brother, we had to put them in hostel. And I supported to some extent so that they. But my mother at that time, I remember, was spending time with lot of children from the nearby place. They used to come to our house, and it was a very secluded place, in fact. But still, these children used to gather every time in the evening, and my parents used to enjoy talking to them. And what you said, distributing little bit, whatever, maybe a lozenge, maybe a toffee, or whatever it is. But that used to give immense pleasure to both those small children. They used to see them laughing with joy, and that joy and affection for the children, these two were growth engines for my parents to drive through and move on in life. They never looked back, and gradually they they established themselves to some extent. And then, of course, we had moved away from that particular situation in which and after that, of course, we all got settled. But question is that affection and love, which my mother and father has distributed, even with a toffee, to the small children, the joy they saw, the laughter they saw in their face, that affection was the growth engine for the entire family of ours. So I just wanted to say that, share with you. Maybe
We didn't know this. We didn't know this, Mr. Kaur. Thank you for sharing.
Lovely,
We
lovely.
also lovely share. Very beautiful story.
Yeah,
Yes, Maria.
I'm sure all of us have lovely stories to
Yes.
to remember, and not only that, it helps us so much in our life ahead, because those are the things that make us so strong that we are able to help other people in turn. So I will continue, and we'll have some more sharings as we go along. Okay, I'm cutting down a lot of things and coming back to the year 2016. All of us are very good at making New Year resolutions. Yeah. So 2016 January, I was creating my New Year resolution, and I realized that I have 5 years left only for my retirement. I had completed 35 years with an IIT. And I said, what am I doing so fast? 35 years and I am 50. I said, I need to do something. It made me shiver within. And I said, wow, now what do I do? So the first thing I did was I went and met with my HR head, Arjun Shankar, and he was also my coach while I was with NIIT. And I told him, Arjun, I have this concern. I have 5 years to retire. And what do I do? So you know what he told me? He asked me things like, what is your net worth? I'm like, huh? Net worth? What is net worth? I was saving LIC little bit here and FDs there and all. Saving I was. And I had also bought a home on my own. The loans were going on. So I was fairly good. But with respect to retirement, I had never thought at all. Then I said, no, I don't know anything now. He said, okay. The next question he asked me, what will you do? How will you spend your time after retirement? I said, yeah, don't worry. My God, just now, no, Arjun, I don't have any time that I'm working. And I was traveling, I was handling as an HR, handling Guwahati, Kolkata, Gujarat and Maharashtra. In a week, in a month, one whole week, I used to be out traveling. So I said, don't worry. See, I'm not doing anything now for the NGOs. I'd love to volunteer. I'll sit and do that. He said, hello, Maria. After you retire, your salary check will stop coming, but your bills will continue. So how will you manage? So there I got more dhakka. I said, बापरे, हाँ मैंने तो सोचा ही नहीं क्या करूं रिटायरमेंट के बाद. Then I ran to a financial consultant and I said, he was an office colleague. I said, Chandu, I say, what to do? He said, ma'am, don't worry. We'll do some SIP, this, that. And he took my whole kundli of my expenses, this, that. And for my daughter, what I need money for her marriage, studies, everything. He did that homework. I said, okay. Then we started investing money in a systematic, planned manner. So I had 5 years that I had started planning for my retirement. Then what to do came with the time. So around 2019, I said, I have 2 years more for retirement. What do I do? What do I do? Karke, I said, oh, I realize I'm very good at people, managing people, in the sense people love me, they come to me, and I'm their, as a one fairy godmother, that I solve their problems. That's when I realized I could do coaching and help people. So I decided to do a coaching program and completed it. Instead of 10 weeks, I took 15 weeks because I was managing work, travel, and learning coaching and all that. So I said, I have 1.5 years to do my internship within the organization because I couldn't work as a passive income. So I said, I can practice in the organization. Came March, the lockdown. And before the lockdown, my daughter decided that she wanted to go to UK for studies and work. She did want to go earlier, but I didn't have the funds and I told her, sorry, I can't give it to you. By this time, she had worked. She had finished her MBA. She had done some work. She was working and I helped her with some money. And of course, her father also contributed for that matter. And she went set out on her own to go to UK. So from then I decided to upskill myself and I did a coaching program because I knew that once my daughter marries, I would be alone. I would be having an empty nest and I had to prepare for my retirement in any case. So I did my coaching program, and during my coaching, studies, my coach knew my problems through and through and asked, Maria, you have an inspiring story. You've been such an unstoppable. So I said, yeah, what to do, sir? I have to be strong, but I know how I was within. I had lost my self-confidence. I was low on my self-esteem because within I was extremely broken as a person because I was handling this divorce case. But outside, I tried to show I was very strong. I was managing everything. I was, everything was very, very clean for me. Till one day, my boss didn't know about what happened, what was happening in my life. He called me for an appraisal meeting and he said, "So, Maria, tell me next 5 years, what do you want to do?" And then I broke down because that night it was very, very terrible at home. And I told him, I don't know about my tomorrow. I said, Madhu, I can't think about my 5 years. Then, and I broke down. Then he said, "What happened?" And I had to tell him finally. He was shocked that we are working together and he didn't know that I was into so much of problems at home, because that never affected my work. Because when I came to work, and it took away all my stress, I was only focused with work. So finally, when my coach got to know that, I had such an inspiring story, he asked me, "Why don't you write a book?" And I told him, Arfi, me and writing a book, my English is average. I cannot write a book immediately. Why? Because for me, book means it was like being a big celebrity. I said, no, 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 I can't do. But I decided to just take him for his word, just like a lot of people tell me a lot of things. I took him for his word and I said, okay. Then came the March lockdown 2020 and we had to sit at home. So I said, now what? So I said, let me take 2 years to write my book. Very happy, 2 years, and I started writing. In the lockdown, my travel time got converted to writing my book. Morning 6:15 to 7:30, I used to reach office. So that was my time dedicated to writing the book. And I had, along that time, one guy from Notion Press used to keep bothering me. "Ma'am, we are from Notion Press publication in case anybody is interested in writing a book." And I remember this guy. So I wrote my script. By October, I had finished. Now, whom to edit? I got a colleague, his wife in my office was a teacher, Dr. Reena. She volunteered to help me with the editing because I knew my English was like horrible. So she did that for me along with another colleague from Pune before it went for self-publication in Notion Press. Finally, all this happened and the book became a reality in 10 months. So Jan 26th, 2021, I launched my book. And before I started my book, one of my coach colleagues said, "Maria, sit down and write. Imagine what is your launch going to be like." And you know what I said? I am in a hall surrounded by my friends, family, neighbors, my chairman, managing directors, and all those, senior managers, my office colleagues, the newspaper, TV channel people, and I'm on the stage with my managing director, inaugurating the book. I wrote all that and I sent it to my colleague, and I was very happy after that when I read my own book launch. But it so happened to be that in Jan 21, when the book had to be launched, it became a global book launch because I had to do it on YouTube channel with the help of my neighbor, this lady Babita, whose son was a final year student, my neighbor, and I was coaching him at that time in the lockdown. And he did a setup on YouTube live. I'm zero in technology, so everything happened. And during that time, I had an opportunity to even um, uh, coach Babita. And I'll just play a little video of hers on what she had to say on how she came with a problem. Every time she would come to my house, she would complain about her son. He's not editing her videos. And then this is what we did of converting a problem into an opportunity.
हाय गाइस, मेरा नाम बबीता मैसी है और मेरे यूट्यूब पे 2 चैनल है। एक है मैसी फैमिली और दूसरा है बबीता का किचन। बबीता के किचन के लिए मेरा बेटा अक्सर शूट करता था, हमेशा वही करता था, लेज़ली। और शूट भी वही करता था, एडिट भी वही करता था, अपलोड भी वही करता था मेरे वीडियो। अब धीमे धीमे जब उसके एग्ज़ाम आने लगे, धीमे धीमे मेरे वीडियो जो हफ्ते में 3 जाते थे, 2 हो गए, 2 से 1 हो गया और फिर बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल होने लगी क्योंकि वो बिज़ी हो गया। अब मैं बहुत टेंशन में आ गई। फिर एक दिन हम नीचे बैठे चाय पी रहे थे हमारे सिस्टर के पास, तो मैंने उनसे कहा सॉरी, मैंने उनसे कहा और मैंने कहा हमारे सिस्टर मेरे वीडियो नहीं जा रहे हैं, लेज़ली बिजी है, मैं बहुत टेंशन में हूँ, क्योंकि आपकी एक रूटीन बन जाती है जाने के वीडियोज़ ना। फिर उन्होंने मुझसे कहा बबीता क्यों ना हम ऐसा करें कि हम लोग एडिटिंग सीख लें खुद से। मैंने बोला हाँ ये ठीक है। तो फिर हमने प्लान किया और फिर हम लोगों ने लेज़ली से बात की। लेज़ली ने ट्वाइस अ वीक हमें एडिटिंग करना सिखाना शुरू कर दिया। हमने फ़ोटोज़ एडिट करना सीखा, हमने वीडियो एडिट करना सीखा और फिर साथ ही साथ में लेज़ली मेरे वीडियो को शूट भी करता था। फिर मैंने ट्राइपॉड की हेल्प से खुद ही शूट करना भी शुरू कर दिया और धीमे धीमे हमने एडिटिंग करना सीख लिया। जैसे वो सिखा रहा था हमने सीख लिया और मैं एक स्टेप आगे चल रही थी, क्योंकि मैं खुद से घर में छोटे छोटे वीडियो जैसे लेज़ली ने सिखाया था हम उसको एडिट करना सीखे। फिर उसके बाद बबीता के किचन को, जो बबीता के किचन के वीडियो आते थे, फिर मैंने वो करना शुरू कर दिया और आज मैं खुद से एडिट करती हूँ मेरे वीडियोज़ और खुद से शूट करती हूँ दोनों चैनल, बबीता बबीता का किचन और मैसी फैमिली। और इस तरह से मेरे वीडियो अब बिल्कुल बराबर आ रहे हैं, रूटीन से आ रहे हैं और अच्छा लग रहा है। खुद को भी अच्छा लगता है कि हमने बहुत अच्छा सीख लिया, अब हम डिपेंड नहीं है, क्योंकि बच्चे हैं, बच्चे आगे बिजी हो जाते हैं और ये सारा क्रेडिट जाता है मारिया सिस्टर को। उन्होंने अगर ना कहा होता तो शायद आज हम सीख भी ना पाते। तो थैंक यू मारिया सिस्टर के लिए, बहुत बड़ा वाला दिल से थैंक यू। गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल। हाय गाइस, मेरा नाम बबीता मैसी है और मेरे
Okay, so then this is how we had the class in the lockdown. We were the only people in the building who would make so much of noise and have the classes. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we were meeting. She would get her tiffins and all. We would actually have so much of fun. I'd like to just share this little.
This is a test of Android and iOS. ये यहाँ पे मेरे स्टूडेंट्स बैठे हैं, ये कैमरा एंगल वगैरह सब देखना है. Okay.
So this is how we would have our classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We used to have a lot of fun. Then came the time when it was November 21, 2022. No, sorry, November 21, yes. I was due for my retirement. I was really, really prepared, not 100%, but 80% I knew how I'm going to spend my time. So after a 40 years of a professional career, I started my next career, which I'm currently on. And friends, if you think things were very easy or easy for us, it's never that way. I'll show you a little bit. While I was in London, Feb 2022, yeah, I went to visit my daughter. After 3 years, I met her. So I didn't have all the facilities to shoot my videos, and I was learning how to shoot reels. So my social media started after I retired. I was zero in Instagram, I was zero in Facebook. Whenever Facebook के बारे में कोई बोलता था, मैं बोलते थे मुझे टाइम नहीं है फेसबुक देखने के लिए, मुझे खुद मेरे फेस देखने के लिए टाइम नहीं है, मैं फेसबुक कहाँ से देख लूं. तो मैं बहुत टाइम में ऐसे मजाक उड़ाती थी खुद के लिए. तो आप हंसेंगे, ये है मेरा कपड़े का जो कपड़े सुखाते हैं, ड्राई करते हैं, वो स्टैंड है. उसके ऊपर मैंने 2 बॉक्सेस रखे हैं और उसके ऊपर मैं अपना वीडियो शूट करती थी मोबाइल रख के. तो ऐसे मैंने शुरुआत की. मेरे पास ट्राइपॉड लाने के लिए इमीडिएटली एट दैट टाइम पैसे नहीं थे. तो जब जून 2022 लास्ट ईयर मेरे कोच कोलीग ने कहा कि मरिया, शी इज अ कोच हु हैंडल्स people who are retired, and her coaching program is called Grow Young. So she had a a ramp walk with Rohit Verma, the international designer, for people with 50 plus women. I was the only youngest lady there for the ramp walk, and I was so nervous, but believe me, Rohit वर्मा इतने डाउन टू अर्थ थे. उन्होंने कहा फॉरगेट हु यू आर, मदर, रिटायर्ड, ओल्ड, enjoy yourself and just be natural, have fun, and I would like you all to make this very special for yourselves. तब मैंने कॉन्फिडेंस लेके मैंने ये रैम्प वॉक किया और बहुत मजा आया. फिर जुलाई में मैंने मेरा खुद का एक प्रोग्राम क्रिएट किया, मास्टरमाइंड क्रिएट किया, जहां लोगों को रिटायर जो होने वाले हैं या रिटायर हुए हैं अपना टाइम कैसे बिता सकते हैं. और मैं इतना शॉक्ड थी कि मुझे 12 पार्टिसिपेंट्स और वो सब लेडीज थे. उसमें से एक श्रीलंका, एक मलेशिया पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी मिले उस प्रोग्राम में. मैं बहुत ब्लेस्ड फील हुआ मुझे कि मुझे कोई पहचानता भी नहीं, फिर भी ये लोग आए इस प्रोग्राम में और 12 वीक्स का प्रोग्राम हमने क्रिएट किया. और आपके जैसे ही हम लोग हर हफ्ते वंस अ वीक 2 आवर्स मिलते थे, लेकिन हम लोग के पास एक प्रोग्राम था, इस दिन क्या करेंगे, उस दिन क्या करेंगे, और एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड प्रोग्राम को लेके हम लोग अपना रिटायरमेंट प्लान क्रिएट किया. उस टाइम मैं अपना और एक अच्छा ये लेस्ली का मैं आपको एक छोटा सा वीडियो, मैं लेस्ली को भी कोच कर रही थी उस टाइम, मैं इसको प्ले करके आपको बता सकती हूँ.
Hi guys, my name is Leslie Massey. I'm 21 right now, and I'm an assistant director and an actor for an upcoming film called Gadar 2. So this is my story. I was in my second year, like living my life like a normal a college going student would do, like being very free, open minded, not thinking about future that much, but still going with the flow kind of thing. But I was not goal oriented. So slowly, like time started passing by. I came in my final year, and the lockdown came in, and then I got in contact with Maria auntie. She's my neighbor, but we started meeting more often. Then she helped me with a coaching program, and that helped me a lot. And like I started setting my goals like I want to be a director, and I want to do these things in like next 5 years. So I wanted to be a director. That was the first thing which I added in the list, and luckily, as soon as I got my graduation, then I became an assistant director. That too in a very big film called Gadar 2. So thank you so much, Maria auntie.
Okay, so let me go to the next one. फिर मैंने सेकंड बैच किया रिटायरमेंट लाइफस्टाइल प्रोग्राम के लिए. उसमें मुझे 2 विडोज मिले और मैंने सोचा उनको मैं चार्ज नहीं करूंगी. एक थी मेरी नेबर जिसका हस्बैंड 4 साल पहले गुजर गया था. उनको कैसे इनकम अर्न करने के लिए पता नहीं था, तो मैंने मेरे प्रोग्राम में बुला के उसको फ्री सर्विसेज दिया. और ये है लेडी फ्रॉम साउथ अफ्रीका, वो भी एक विडो है. दोनों को मैंने हमारे प्रोग्राम में फ्री सर्विस करके एक ये प्रोग्राम दिया. और उन्होंने फिर करके अभी ये एक कोच है साउथ अफ्रीका में. तो ये मुझे एक मौका मिला और मुझे एनजीओ में या कुछ काम करना था. मैंने सोचा क्यों नहीं ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, लोगों को हेल्प कर सकते हैं. उसी टाइम लास्ट ईयर मैंने एक को ऑथरिंग का प्रोजेक्ट किया जो मेरा एक कोच था स्पीकिंग प्रोग्राम में, अमनदीप थिंड, उसमें हम लोग 25 ऑथर्स थे। मैंने सोचा नहीं चलो ट्राई करूं ये को ऑथरिंग क्या होता है। तो मैंने एक चैप्टर लिखा ऑन फाइनेंस, मेरे लाइफ में फाइनेंस का महत्व क्या था। तो मैंने कुछ स्टोरीज शेयर की मेरे लाइफ की ऑन दिस बुक डेस्टिनी बाय डिजाइन। सो मेरा ये सेकंड बुक था, लेकिन को ऑथरिंग था। और ये बुक वेरी स्पेशल है मेरे लिए, क्योंकि मेरे बर्थडे पे लॉन्च हुआ था नवंबर 11 पे। फिर मेरी डॉटर और मेरी सन इन लॉ, उनकी अभी शादी हो गई नवंबर में। और शादी के बाद फिर मैं दोनों को ज्वाइन किया लंदन में एक क्रिसमस न्यू ईयर के लिए। 6 साल के बाद हम लोग साथ में क्रिसमस न्यू ईयर मनाया। एंड जब मैंने फर्स्ट प्रोग्राम किया था रिटायरमेंट का, तब उन लोगों ने और सेकंड प्रोग्राम पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने, उन लोग को बुक लिखने का शौक हो गया कि हम लोग बुक कैसे लिखें। तो लेकिन ये बुक हम कैसे फुल बुक लिखेंगे, तो हम मेरी दूसरी कोलीग ने बोला व्हाई नॉट राइट वन चैप्टर। तब हमारे मन में आया ये एक सेकंड को ऑथरिंग का प्रोजेक्ट, जो मैंने प्रोजेक्ट लिया और बाकी लोगों को इकट्ठा करके हम लोग 19 को ऑथर्स बन गए, और वो भी इंटरनेशनल 7 कंट्रीज से। और हम लोग ने नाम लिखा है मी नो पॉज, क्योंकि जो बैकग्राउंड था कि वी शुड राइट ऑन विमेन एम्पावरमेंट। हम खुद एम्पावर करते हैं हम लोगों को, खुद के लिए हम अपने बहन माँ या बेटियों को एम्पावर करते हैं, या विमेन इन आवर ऑफिस हम लोग एम्पावर करते हैं। तो हम अपना अपना स्टोरी लिख सकते हैं कैसे हुआ। तो विमेन एम्पावरमेंट करके हम लोग ने ये किया। और कई दिन के बाद मुझे एक कलीग मिला, मरिया कैसे हो, ये हो वो है। मैं बोला हाँ ठीक हो, तब क्या करती हो। मैंने बोला हाँ ये अभी ना मैं ऐसे ऐसे प्रोग्राम करती हूँ, और ये एक बुक हम लोगों ने शुरू किया। तो उन्होंने कहा कैन आई राइट ऑल्सो, आई वॉन्ट टू राइट अबाउट माई मदर, शी इज द लेडी हु एम्पावर्ड मी। मैं बोला हाँ एंड मैंने बोला एंड शी जस्ट डाइड लास्ट ईयर। तो मुझे बहुत शौक है लिखने के लिए। मेरे डैडी मरने के बाद ना मैं 4 साल था, तो मेरे मम्मी ने मुझे और मेरे दोनों बहनों को बहुत अच्छी तरह से अपकमिंग बहुत अच्छी तरह से किया। मैं बोला या व्हाई नॉट, विल बी एन इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरी करके। तो उन्होंने ज्वाइन किया, और वो ज्वाइन होके वो खुद एक पब्लिशर भी बन गया हमारे लिए। तो ऐसे करके हमारा ये बुक चल गया। Now I would like you to share something about your story, and I would stop sharing. I would like to hear some more stories from you. Anyone?
Who is going next?
Who's going next?
इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है? आप लोग कितना बोलते हैं?
Or
Please
maybe they
share.
can plan. Maybe they can plan, and next time we could start with their stories. We can continue
Yeah.
the session.
Actually, maybe then they might be thinking, no, that we should write a book now. They have so many stories.
We had also thought about this. We had planned, because after 2 years, we have so many people, so many different stories, like collate them and make into a book.
Yeah.
After you talking about this, we will do it probably.
Yeah.
Why
We'll put it
stopping
into
us?
proper perspective, and we'll share it with everyone, and then
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we'll be able to do that.
Correct.
Oh, light is gone. Light is gone.